Was the plane crash in Bihendo truly planned? On what seemed like an ordinary Friday afternoon, the peaceful town of Bihendo, Brazil, was shattered by a nightmarish event that would haunt its residents forever. A twin-engine ATR 72-500 turboprop, its engine screaming in agony, spiraled violently out of control, hurtling toward the ground with a fury that shook the sky. As it descended, the plane appeared almost alive, twisting and riding as if some unseen force was dragging it down. The impact was cataclysmic. The aircraft plowed through a residential area, its metal frame tearing through homes like a sky through wheat. The deafening roar of the explosion was followed by an eerie silence, broken only by the cracking of flames consuming what remained. All 62 souls aboard were incinerated, their bodies lost to the inferno. The wreckage was a scene of utter devastation, a twisted, smoldering graveyard where homes and lives had once stood. But the true horror was yet to come. As the night fell and rescue workers combed through the debris, strange things began to happen. Some claimed to hear faint whispers coming from the shadows, while others felt an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the spirits of the dead were watching, angry and restless. Social media erupted with footage of the crash, the terrifying final moments of the plane captured by horrified onlookers, the sight of the aircraft plummeting into the ground, bathed in the blood-red light of the setting sun, was seared into the minds of all who saw it. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and Sao Paulo's governor, Tarcísio Gomes de Freitas, declared 3 days of mourning for the victims. But as the town of Bihendo tried to move on, whispers of something far darker began to spread. In the days that followed, an insidious rumor began to circulate. An anonymous source, going by the name of Phoenix, claimed that the crash was not an accident. The plane had been brought down deliberately, they said, by a force so powerful and malevolent that it could manipulate life and death itself. Phoenix's claims were chilling. The crash had been orchestrated by one of Brazil's most feared cartels, a shadowy organization with roots in the darkest corners of the underworld. Their leader, known only as El Fantasma, the Ghost, was a figure of legend, a man whose cruelty was matched only by his cunning. It was said that he trafficked not only in drugs but in souls, dealing death like a currency. Maria Santos, a hardened investigative journalist with a reputation for uncovering the truth behind Brazil's most dangerous criminals, found herself drawn to the rumors. Phoenix's posts read like a horror story, but Maria knew better than to dismiss them as fiction. There was something in the way the words were written, a tone that sent shivers down her spine. She had to know more. As Maria delved into the mystery, she discovered a name that made her blood run cold. Felipe Ruiz, a former accountant for the cartel. Felipe had vanished months earlier after attempting to turn state witness. He was a dead man walking, hiding from a fate he knew was inevitable. Maria's investigation led her to a dark and twisted truth. Felipe Ruiz had indeed been on that flight, a desperate man clutching at the last hope of survival. But the cartel was always one step ahead. They knew his every move, his every thought. The flight was supposed to be his escape, but it had become his tomb. Through contacts in law enforcement, Maria managed to get her hands on the passenger manifest. Felipe's name stood out like a beacon, a warning of the horrors that had been unleashed. As she dug deeper, Maria found that Felipe had been carrying something, evidence so damning that it could bring down the entire cartel, but it never made it to its destination. Someone or something had ensured that. Phoenix's claims began to make more sense, but they also became more terrifying. The cartel hadn't just orchestrated a simple murder, they had made a pact to something far more sinister. El Fantasma was more than just a man. He was a force of evil, a creature of darkness who commanded powers beyond comprehension. The deeper Maria dug, the more the lines between reality and nightmare blurred. The cartel's influence was everywhere, and their reach extended far beyond the physical world. She uncovered evidence of rituals, sacrifices, and whispers of an ancient curse that bound the cartel's leaders to a malevolent entity. The plane crash, she discovered, was not just an act of vengeance. It was an offering. The lives lost in the crash were sacrifices, meant to strengthen the cartel's hold on the mortal realm and to appease the dark forces they served. Maria's heart pounded as she read the accounts of witnesses who had seen strange figures looking in the shadows at the crash sites, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The authorities, deeply corrupted and under the cartel's control, refused to acknowledge the truth. They dismissed the crash as a tragic accident, even as evidence of foul play mounted. Maria knew she was on her own, but she could not stop. She had to expose the horror that was festering beneath the surface, even if it meant facing the darkness head-on. Maria's articles hit like a thunderclap, shocking the nation into a state of fear and rage. She laid bare the cartel's crimes, the government's complicity, and the horrifying truth behind the plane crash. But as the public demanded answers, Maria's world began to unravel. The cartel struck back with a vengeance, unleashing terror upon her. She received messages at the dead of night, written in blood and delivered by unseen hands. Her home was invaded by shadows that whispered her name, filling her dreams with visions of death and despair. She could feel the darkness closing in on her, a suffocating presence that left her gasping for air. One night, as she sat alone, writing by the light of a single flickering candle, the air around her grew cold. The shadows deepened and the whispers grew louder. Maria's heart raced as she realized she was not alone. A figure stepped out of the darkness, its face hidden beneath a hood, its eyes burning with unnatural fire. The figure spoke in a voice that was not of this world, telling her that she had gone too far, that she had seen too much. It promised her a fate worse than death if she continued, a fate that would make her beg for the release of the grave. But Maria, her resolve unshaken, told the figure that she would not stop, that she would see justice done no matter the cost. The figure laughed, a sound that echoed like a death knell, and then it was gone, leaving Maria alone in the dark, the only light coming from the candle's dying flame. Maria's articles had unleashed a wave of fear and anger across Brazil. The public, now aware of the evil lurking in their midst, demanded action. The authorities, forced into a corner, launched an investigation into the cartel's activities, but Maria knew that the battle was far from over. The cartel's power was rooted in something beyond the physical, and the phantasma was still out there, biding its time. The investigation led to the arrest of several officials, but the true darkness remained untouched, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike again. Felipe Ruiz was hailed as a hero, his courage in trying to bring down the cartel remembered by a nation in mourning. But Maria knew that his soul, like those of the other victims, was trapped in a place of torment, held by the forces that El Phantasma served. Maria's victory was hollow. She had exposed the truth, but in doing so, she had opened the door to something far worse. The shadows that followed her since that fateful night never left her, whispering dark secrets and promises of pain. She became a prisoner in her own home, haunted by the knowledge that the darkness was not gone, it was just waiting. And as the days turned to nights, Maria knew that it was only a matter of time before the darkness came for her to claim the soul that had dared to defy it.
There is nothing we can't make scary.